Don't plant that near your septic system. Don't plant that near your sidewalk or your roadway. I think a lot of folks do not realize how aggressive roots can be to some of those foundational areas. So in today's video, I want to share with you guys some plants and trees that are a nice safe bet to plant, and some of those tough spots that are going to give you great impact without the worry of what's going on below the surface, what it's damaging. So let's start with my first tree, which is obviously one of my favorites. This is my girl here, a triple bottle palm. I have her right in the front entrance of my walkway. She is near my pavers and something else very sensitive, which is my drain field over into this section. So bottle palms, because of their short stature, they have a very fibrous root system. So if you guys recall last week's video where I did a beautiful little pool planting area, I put a bottle palm on each side of their waterfall feature, which was full of tons of water pipes. I felt very comfortable planting those in those areas because they have a very fibrous root system and they're very slow growers. So that is something that I'm totally comfortable putting in situations like this. And I think that it still gives you that, I don't know, that big wow feeling. She's a gorgeous feature as you come right through the front, and they're just a fabulous choice for that courtyard area, that small little area where you're not having to really worry about what's below the ground. Just a little bit of an example of what is considered a good root system versus one that's not. So not all palms are created equally. Most of you guys from Florida know of the royal palm. The royal palm is a fabulous tree, very dynamic. However, the root system on that guy, I would not trust near a driveway, a walkway, and definitely not a septic system. It is one of those aggressive rooters and will pretty much pull up concrete if you let it. Another one is a queen palm, a coconut palm. Those are palms that grow super tall, super fast, such heavily rooted plants. And then their roots, because of how big those canopies are, they push out sideways and deep to kind of really establish those trees during a storm. Fabulous for hurricane season. The negative to that is that now they're reaching out into pretty much the size of the canopy. So if your canopy is 20 foot wide, you can guarantee the roots are at least 20 foot wide on those particular trees and beyond, because they're supporting that to kind of make sure they're not top heavy. Those are kind of my no-goes when it comes to anything that's a little bit delicate. So the next palm on my list is one of my favorites. You guys know I love to put her everywhere. It is the triangle fan palm. I have a few of them in my yard back here. They're very mature. They've been here a very long time, and they're fabulous for a little bit of a variation in coloring. They give you that silver tone amongst all the other green foliage that we have here in our palm tree collection here in Florida. So I love what they offer, but one thing that a lot of people don't know is that you can actually put this big old tree, even at its maturity, into a smaller setting. So this can go right up against a pool cage. This can go right in a giant pool planter along a wall. It wouldn't put it near a drain field, but it can go definitely near a septic system, a well-functioning septic system. It can go in really tight places, near pool equipment, near pool pipes. Those kind of things, I would not at all worry about these guys, because they have a fibrous root system that kind of float in those areas. So they're really just looking for stability, and they kind of hold that in place, but they're not going all the way around and all through the canopy. So they have more of a shallow root system. The negative to those is that they're going to be in that palm family where if we get a storm, they might tilt or lean or even come down. But they're such a durable tree that they're so worth incorporating into your garden, because they're perfect for just those key areas. Now, a project I did last week, I used one of these guys directly behind a waterfall feature where there were tons of pipes, and I felt completely confident putting her right there as the backdrop. It was a gorgeous fan to the back of the pool screen, giving that waterfall feature a little bit of backing. So it was on the outside of the feature, and on the inside of the pool cage, we had two triple bottle palms. So that was a great feel of, having what we call courtyard palms, palms that are soft tip. The roots are not going to get aggressive. They're not going to go to town. They're not going to raise pavers. Definitely triangle fan palms are on the must-have list when you have some delicate areas to work with. with. So now we're gonna move on to some key features, some accents in the garden. Say you've got that spot, tough spot, but you still want it to have some impact, some interest. That's where these bad boys come in. So if you guys are anything like me, you like the look, that vertical look of what agaves offer. And agaves are fabulous for that upright structure, that little bit of architectural feel, almost like a statue in the garden. They really do offer that impact. However, one thing that you may not be aware of is that their structure, their root structure themselves, you can literally take them out of the pot that they're in, cut the root ball to just a few inches high and plant them that way, and they will reroot and stabilize and do just fine. I had a client mention in a video last week that she had tons of queen palms in her island planting and that she couldn't really plant anything, and she's going to add a little bit of soil and put some plants in there, but it was really, really hard digging. If you have that kind of situation, there are several plants and trees that you could pretty much cut the root ball right off and then pop that guy right in there, and agaves are one of those accent features that you can absolutely do that. Really kind of get them into a shallow spot, get them settled, and they will reroot very easily and become a fantastic plant to work with and not really take over any kind of system. So right near a sprinkler pipe, right near the water main, no problem with the agaves. The agaves that I love to work with, of course, this is the false agave here. This is the blue flame agave here. This is Attenuata, which is the foxtail agave here. And what I love about the foxtail agave is they're a little bit easier, not only on the roots, but a little easier to propagate too. Just kind of a bonus tip. They throw out a little bit of a stem. You can literally cut the stem off itself, plant that and prop that guy right into that spot, cover him back up, and now you have a whole new plant. It's going to root right in from the stem. So that's how little roots they need to get established in a garden, which is just fabulous. And in the front, we have a silver yucca rostrata that is the same way. And of course, the blue agave and the Caribbean agaves, and so many other varieties that you guys might have in your neck of the woods. But these are also great for planters. That means they can live a long time in those perfect pots that you have in your front entranceway or on your pool deck, and you don't have to constantly replant them. And for my next plant of choice is one of my favorites. Now, I love all variety of crotons. This is a beautiful collection of some lightly rooted crotons here. These are perfect for little outdoor spaces, perfect for small areas that need a big pop. So you can give a lot of punctuation of color with a little bit of space when you have these guys to work with. They can get to this size like you see here, which is just around that 5-foot range, and still be a very delicate rooted plant. And then of course we have the minis that are going to stay low to the ground. And speaking of low to the ground, you guys, in general, ground covers are going to be an easy thing to go with. Things like Blue My Minds, the little rubies, you know, stay kind of glow and crop to the ground. Those are going to be pretty sensitive in general when it comes to rooting. They're just a non-invasive plant to work with, and you're not going to have to worry about them near your water pipes or pool pipe because of their soft, tender, fibrous roots. What we have right here is the banana leaf croton, a gorgeous specimen. She's absolutely a stunner. I have two flanking my Madagascar palm, and then of course, as an understory plant that's not going to ever compete with the banana leaf is the mammy croton. It's more of a dwarfed lower croton. Over towards the back, I have a mix of magnificent crotons and ice tone crotons, and I just think that those offer such a different variation in colors. And for the last plant that I want to mention is the Song of India. This plant is a stunner. When you're looking for a plant that you can plant a grouping of in an area that's a tough area, it should be something that is substantial, something that spreads a little bit, gives you a little bit of girth, and has a little bit of architectural detail. And this plant has all of those features. It's one that you can put in, allow it to cluster together, allow it to bunch out, and not worry about how deep those roots are going to go in or how aggressive those roots can wrap around water pipes. So these are commonly used in pool planters to brighten up a space. Just look, you guys, what this leaf does next to this leaf and then this leaf. It's a perfect complement, gives you a nice variegation. And what's great is it's very versatile. So this can handle filtered light, it can handle full sun. The color changes just a little bit with those two differences. It gets a little bit more of the yellow and green in the sun, and then in the shade it gets a little bit more of the white and green, which I think is absolutely a stunner in a dark environment, and that makes it a star in any kind of plant grouping. And if you guys are looking for a little bit more information about some really tried and true tough Florida plants, then of course you guys know Bryce and I have a book coming out, so we've been working on it for almost a solid year, just getting it just perfect, getting it just right, where it has a touch of, you know, enjoying reading about the plants and the trees, as well as good descriptive information about each and every one of them, so you can decide if it's going to be a really good fit for your garden. So it should be out towards the end of summer, fingers crossed, something we're super proud of. So thank you guys in advance for those of you guys who are going to purchase it, because we're very excited to get this out there. However, if you guys are facing those things and you're not quite sure what plants to completely avoid for those areas, I would totally, absolutely do not put Lucie in a sensitive spot. Do not put philodendron saloom, burl marks, pothos vine, even that small little vine. It's amazing how aggressive that can go around water pipes. Brazilian red cloaks, they really need a lot of root system to kind of hold themselves up. So there's a lot of water they're trying to consume. So they're really pushing out those roots to become a bigger plant. Those are things to kind of avoid in those sensitive areas or in planters, because you'll notice there'll be something that you kind of rip out and start all over again very, very often. And to recap, the trees that I would avoid, royal palms for sure, queen palms, believe it or not, even Christmas palms, because as Christmas palms mature, their roots become really, really aggressive and multiply like no other. It's amazing how many individual roots that Christmas palms have, and they will fill up a planter bed where you cannot even poke a little shovel in there to put anything near them because the roots have gotten so aggressive. So anything like that, coconut palms, anything that's going to grow relatively fast like that are going to really take hold and take on a root system like a network that you've never seen down below the ground. All right, so that's it for today's video, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. If you guys need more information or more inspiration than what you see here in these videos, then you know your girl is a landscape designer. Reach out to us. We'd be happy to meet with you and look to see if we can create something beautiful in your space. We do landscape design, landscape installation, and virtual consults for those of you guys who have just little key areas you might need a little bit of insight on. So I'll be sure to put all the contact information down below, as well as a screenshot on the screen for you guys. Other than that, I will see you guys in the next video, and we will post a how-to video. This is going to be how to install a flagstone path. It turned out gorgeous. Cannot wait to share it with you guys. Thank you guys so much for visiting today. Take care.